What's going on there, YouTube?
What about there, YouTube?
This is SCL0320.
It's your boy Joe Johnson 030.
So we are back for a Fear the Walking Dead Season 2, Episode 3, spoiler-filled review. So anything goes. If you have not watched the episode, it's actually a really good episode. Yeah. Take this, put it in your watch later, come back to it because we're about to give y'all the nitty gritty about the stuff that went down. We're not gonna go too long, but we will touch on the major points. But alright, I give y'all a chance. Here we go. So, in this episode, there's a lot of compromising things that happen. But the biggest thing is the opening. Because it opens up with the crash. Like the plane that they saw, they had crash landed on an island, and then you have a lot of the people, specifically the Asian girl, and then the young boy, who's been scarred and disfigured. And basically she's trying to keep him safe, and she's trying to protect him. And people are like dying around them. People want him dead because he's a liability of turning. And he's barely hanging on. And it's really compelling. Like, I mean, throughout the whole entire episode, they are put right in the center of all this. Because at a certain point, the group decides, or part of the group decides to go to the island, look for kind of supplies from where the crash was. And then there's a whole mess of walkers that literally just surrounds them on this island. And it was like, from a visual standpoint, it was beautiful. Cinematically, I thought it was well shot. The ocean shots were beautiful. But basically, this girl, she's the one that warned Daniel. She's like, look, get out of the way, run.
Like, dang, Daniel.
Well, she said run. And like after that is like she protected them. She looked out for them. She tried to help them. She was looking out for her friend, the young boy. And I love the way that they have her character put in this. But at the end, Strand just does the unthinkable. Like, cause they basically were like, they got out of it. And I'm leaving out a lot so Joe can be able to kind of touch on one of the things he was talking about was far with Nick. But Strand decides, well, even though we said we were going to pull them along, I'm just going to cut them loose. Forget it. They liability.
Abruptly.
I was like, that's cold-blooded.
Didn't say anything.
Like, he just had an axe and just cut it out. And, like, Madison just sat there and looked. I was like, really? But, what was some of the stuff that you really liked about the episode?
What I liked about this episode, so I have to mention, first and foremost, the scene with Nick. Because the group on the island, so it was Daniel and the kids, they were on the island, gathering supplies, and the whole group pretty much like lost one another. And so the horde comes, and then so there's everybody's together except for Nick, and so you don't know where he is. But then he appears out of nowhere, saves Alicia, then hits a zombie in the head, and he's got like this axe-looking thing. He's all covered in blood, just a savage-looking dude, right? Just hacking away at these zombies. And then next thing you know, like the group kind of runs down the beach or whatever. But Nick, he kind of still walking kind of slow, and then turns back and notice that the zombies aren't really like following him or not really taking notice of him because he's been covered in zombie blood. So he then stares a zombie down, like straight face to face, nose to nose, like just grilling him. And he starts like, the zombie starts growling at him. He starts growling back at the zombie. I was like, yo, this is nuts.
That was nuts. Moment.
That was a dope moment. Like, that's probably one of the most. I feel like this is gonna be a very memorable moment in the entire franchise.
Yeah.
Just hands down. I'm like, wow, this is a dope.
Yeah.
Just dope thing.
But then even like the Chris situation was that caught me off guard.
Oh yeah. So Chris, being Chris, goes out by himself on this island. Disbands the group, goes out on his own, and he finds two walkers. One walker's pinned, he kills the other walker, and he finds this guy there. The guy's like, help me, so he like helps the guy out of this crash seat in the airplane, and the guy falls over, and his spine is all jacked up, and
exposed too.
Exposed and everything. So this guy's not going to be able to move at all. And the guy's sitting there like, help me. And what can he do but to put him out of his misery? And he's not even that successful. Like, he has a blunt object, and he's striking the dude on the head.
And then
strikes him like 3 times, and the
guy
looks at him.
And that just was,
in his eyes.
that to me,
he's still alive.
Like, this is the thing that I'll say this, YouTube, is the fact is that whenever we get to see what happens to the person that Negan killed, I feel like that's the same as that thing I'm going to feel. Because it's different when it's actually a walker versus a person. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was a blunt object, and the dude's head's gashed open, and, like, you know he can't say anything because his mind is jacked up. And he looks at us, essentially. And I was like, dog, that messed me all up, kind of, man. I felt for Chris in that moment, but I was like, he needed to understand the grasp of life and death. Like, you just sitting there killing walkers, you're still killing people. You know, I understand that he lost his mom, and I understand he's mad with his dad, but I know he came out of that with a lot more respect. And I don't know. I think that that's going to help him in the long term, but it was like, dang, that was a jacked up situation. But, you gave it an 8.5 out of 10?
Yes.
Anything you think they could have fixed or capitalized on? Or
I'm just me personally. I'm just kind of, I feel like, not rush it, but I don't know how I feel about them just being on this boat for this long.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's just me.
I'll say this, yeah, because when they got on the island and they're in the sand trying to run away from these walkers, like, that's a dangerous situation. Like, when Nick fell in the pit, and, like, I thought it was stupid, him sitting there looking down there and he fell down there. But then when that walker fell over onto him, I was like, what are you going to do in that situation? So, I mean, I definitely feel like them being in a beach climate or area like that, there's a lot more ways they can pit it. But it is some beautiful shots. Like, I mean, especially them being on the water is really beautiful. I gave it a 9 out of 10. My whole thing is that I feel like everybody's just acting stupid. The only one that's really focused is Strand. We just can't trust him at all.
Yeah, like he's a loose cannon right now, kind of.
I mean, I think he's just staying dedicated to what he wants to do.
He's a collective storm.
Yeah.
What I liked it. But I mean, I liked the introduction of the new characters. I felt like they could have used her. So I feel like Strand made a huge mistake. Kind of irked me.
Well, I mean, it's a waste to me. This is the thing I'll say, is that if we had that whole entire little, series just for the character finally to get brought into, and this is what they said. They said one of these characters is going to be one of the main characters of this season. That's what they said. Just for now, her be cut off.
Yeah.
Like, that was a waste of time. I don't know if they should have. I would have waited till the next episode and then did that, so we knew at least they're gonna be around for a little bit longer. But I don't know. They might. I don't know. I don't know how they would go back and get them. But she might end up having to eat that guy.
Well, she knows where they're going now.
I mean, she knows where they're going, but I'm saying, like, for her to be able to survive, she doesn't have anything other than the water and the food that they gave her.
True.
At a certain point, she's gonna have to.
Well, we don't know what's gonna happen.
I think that he's gonna die.
He might.
And I think she's gonna survive.
He's gonna die.
Cause she's a survivor. She's a survivor.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. But she knows where they're going, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. This is JVS. Thank you guys for supporting us and watching this. This review here.
Alright, y'all have a blessed night. JVS, we ain't gonna stop. I'll talk to y'all soon.
We'll talk to you guys soon.
We got some Game of Thrones reviews coming pretty soon. So we already put out the season 1 review. We're gonna have the season 2 review probably tomorrow, and then we're gonna be starting watching third season.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll be caught up by next week. So alright, y'all. Peace. All right.